Yo guys, welcome back to another video, and yes, the initial strat is pretty much I've got the run recorded, and I would go about improving it, but I'm kind of busy today, so I'll let you guys have this initial strat and you guys can work towards it and improve it. There's a lot of things with this, there's a wormhole boss with a 30 million, is it 30 million? You got another boss with, was it 48, 60 million? There's a lot, but yeah, this is pretty much the team I have so far for the initial strat. If you guys have any like improvements, let me know. I feel like Tengen doesn't really get the best out of him, so I'm gonna probably look for a replacement for him. Cause with Tengen, as he, oh, I can't. Let me just click on the. Oh, I don't want to click on the familiar, but you guys know that upon hitting scorched enemies or debuffed enemies, he gets crit rate and he can guaranteed crit. But I'm pretty sure when I was running using him, that he can't apply scorch because there's of course immunity, so he wasn't really getting the best out of him. But pretty much Smith, it just overall helps everyone. Broly, he's crazy. Griffith's good support, helping a lot of people, good DPS. And Goblin Killer is a surprise for this. I'm sure you guys haven't seen this guy using a tournament at all. But this is the time he actually gets some use case and it helps a lot. So let's just get into this and I hope you guys do have fun with your runs and good luck. Alright guys, so pretty much the carry is pretty much just Broly and Goblin Killer. They goes work so well together and makes it such a good difference. Having that domain up for Goblin Killer, it scores so hard. But pretty much you max your farm, not max farm, you upgrade your farm. Place him, then you use your Griffith domain. And it's just focusing on your farm until the mobs get close to Griffith. When the mobs get close to Griffith, that's when you place Broly down. And you can see we use the domain again to get to light form, and that's what we need. And we should be hitting light form pre-wave 8. So yeah, just pay attention for that. And we get a Broly up there as well, just to rupture these enemies, because Griffith is hitting them, so you want to apply a lot of damage. And also we have, what's his name? The next Broly placed here. And we're going to use the range buffer on him to maximize his range. And we're placing the rest of our units. We've got that other Broly at a corner. And we've got Tengen's placed as well. And pretty much we're just waiting to get enough yen before we can max out Broly, the one in the middle. Yeah, we give the range buffer to our Griffith, and then once the boss enters his range, we give him the damage buffer. And you can see we switched to damage and waiting for our Broly to get maximum discounts. It kind of is important. It's very important to maximize your yen for the wave 20 boss. You don't want to be wasting a lot of yen, so that's the reason for us waiting that extra 4k. Was it extra 4k yen saving it? Because it does make a big difference in the long run. Of course, towards the end of the run, yen is not an issue, but for now it is. So you guys need to make sure you're saving yen. We got Tengen up as well, placing our Goblin Killers back here as well. And as you guys can see, I turned auto skip off. The reason for this is pretty much just to get as much yen as possible, you know. What I mean by this is just killing as many mobs as possible, because as you guys can see, we get a lot of yen from mobs, and plus we're getting yen from our farm. So we just want trying to maximize that. And now you can see we're waiting for more money to get our second Broly up. But we have him set the closest. The reason for this is just to maximize his AoE. You can see you're seeing a lot of mobs there. That's why just having him closest. And next up is our next Tengen. Ideally, I would have liked to go for Broly, but you can see there's an issue with leaks, and you don't want these enemies to be wasting traps. Because you want to save those traps for your boss, the wave 20 boss. You can see these mobs do get very close, so we're just trying to make sure they don't touch the traps. You can see that one, you barely missed. And now once you got another full AoE Tengen, pretty much should be dealing with these mobs. Yeah, but the issue with the Tengen I was saying in the intro, I'm pretty sure he's not critting. I know, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think Rupture counts as a debuff on the enemies, so it doesn't really work. So he's not critting against it. Thing Rupture is counted as a status effect, not a debuff, so I think the only debuffs are Wounded, Scorched, what other ones are there? Maybe Bubbled, so yeah. Since it is immunity, you can't really apply any of those, so not much you can do. I guess in terms of other options, there are Conquest, who has a lot of range, so he could be a shout. Who else is there? There's Guts. You could use Guts. I feel like Guts is a decent shout, especially with Broly having his domain up. Oh, here you wanna be applying your buffs to all your units. You saw me do it, but applying buffs to your Goblin Killers, the correct buffs to Broly, and all your units. And once the boss spawns, you wanna set all your units to bosses targeting. And I gave the Dragon Slayer to that Goblin Killer for now. What's this, 29 million, right? Yeah, 29 million boss, so yeah. That is why he's quite annoying. But with the units we have and the help of the Goblin Killers, you're able to kill him. And that's why I said money is a very important thing for early game, because look, you can see we need to upgrade our Goblin Killers as much as possible. Any spare yen we get, we just dump it into the Goblin Killers. And at this point I have 3 Goblin Killers maxed, so you should have the same. And you can see with the Goblin Killers, we absolutely destroy this boss. And then those mobs get cleared up as well. And from here you can set your units back to the earlier priority. So closest for that Broly and then the last for the middle Broly. And now you can give the damage buff back to him. And get rid of that. What's it called again? Dragon Slayer off him. Next up we're gonna be getting this Broly up as well. What was that? Oh, I went for Tengen first, yeah. But Tengen first and then Broly. Because Tengen is quite cheap, so it's only 50k to max, so better to go for Tengen. Because these leaks at the back do get quite annoying. And at wave 27, I'm going to say it now, wave 27, you turn your domain on for Broly. You can try go one wave later or one wave earlier, it's up to you, but wave 20, wave 27 is like the sweet spot. And once this Broly is maxed, you can start focusing maxing your other units, which is your Tengens and your final Goblin Killer. And then you give the Dragon Slayer to that Broly. So now you have Sword of Actuation and Dragon Slayer on your two Brolys in the middle, or the top left. And then the middle Broly has the range one, just to apply Rupture. And just for his overall range coverage, so that's your Broly's done. Now for your Griffith, you have damage on him. You can either give him range up to you, but damage works well. You have to pay attention to my targetings because I do switch them a lot for my Brolys and my Griffiths. See, the next boss that comes up is a 60 million Falcon of Darkness. And yeah, you can see all our units are max now, so it's just playing with the targetings and making sure we have the right buffers on our units. Yeah, with a 65 million boss, and you can see we're gonna start shredding him soon. Because each wave that passes, our Brolys are just getting even stronger and stronger. And also, our Goblin Killers are even half buffed by Broly as well. See, these are the mobs that are an issue. You see, these Apostles, even though they're only like 7 to 10 million HP, they do cause a lot of issues. So, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure, I don't know if all the mobs do, but there are some mobs who have Dispersal, which makes it so they like split the damage across them, so it's not actually doing a maximum damage to each mob. Can't remember, that's just off my memory, innit? I can't remember what it exactly does. You can see the Falcon of Darkness is approaching slowly, and you can see we're shredding him like crazy. He's already lost like, was it 20 mil in this amount of time? So yeah. And now he's approaching these traps, and you can see he gets absolutely shredded by these traps. And that's what happens when Goblin Killer has Broly's domain up. And bear in mind, we did use our Broly domain at 27, so at 41 and 42 we're turning auto skip off. And you can see why mob's an issue, yeah? Even though we shredded that boss, it was 60 minute HP, these apostles are very tanky, you know? They're only 10 minute HP and they're able to just survive. And yeah, nice, just time to switch our units to first. And I turned auto skip off. But since it looks like enemies are going to be leaking non-stop, you can set your Broly's back to last and closest. So the original priority is just to maximize damage. So I move one tank in here. I eventually move a second one as well. So you guys can do it earlier than later. So move the second tank in there to support him as well. Yeah, you can see I switched all my targeting back to what it was originally because we're not going to kill all the mobs, so it's just best to maximize damage. You can place this Tengen you see in the middle. I place it up front as well. So you can do that for your other Tengens as well because you are not going to kill all of them. So it's best just to maximize your damage. And that's pretty much it for the strat. So if you enjoyed, like and subscribe, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Peace. I'll get to working on traits for tomorrow or the day after. So yeah, see you soon.